Hello, hello, hello. Welcome everybody to episode 33, where we're gonna intro you to artifacts. Hello, CC. Getting you up here as co-host, and Shelly.
Good morning, good morning, good
Episode 33, where we're gonna intro you
I'm
to
so
artifacts.
excited for today.
Hello.
Sorry, my feedback. Oh,
Yep.
RD's here.
I was like, I just was hearing myself for a moment, but it was probably the stream, huh?
You know it. I'm an addict to listen to my own terrible voice. Yeah, if we could get our friend RD up, I'm so excited. And I'll work on tweeting out.
Yeah, just invited them up to speak, making sure we're getting all set up. Shelly might be a little more quiet today. They're under the weather, but hello, Shelly. How are you?
Hello, hello. My throat is so sore. So thank you for picking up for me. I appreciate it. Much love all. I will be behind the scenes running around.
And for everybody who's just jumping in, we do start in the True Band Room in Decentraland. You can go there and get your show app, which is like a proof of attendance token, but for True Band Room. So all you have to do is show up, be there for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you get it airdropped automatically to you. And it's every week we do our shows, we drop those there, and then we usually venture on to different metaverse worlds and explore those places. Also, hello, RD. It's nice to meet you.
Hey, good morning. It's so nice to meet you. It's a pleasure to be here. This is my intro to your show, and it was such a nice surprise that you're featuring artifacts today. So excited to just learn more about what it is that you do and offer any context that I can.
Yeah, so I guess to let you know and let some others in the room who might not know, we're the Metaverse 3, so Shelly, Cece, and myself. We all come from different metaverse worlds. So Shelly and I started in Decentraland, Cece in Spatial. We met in a crossover event, and then we just found ourselves in other places and loved the idea of exploring more of them and learning from the founders, the builders, the creators, the community, anyone we can kind of get access to come and chat with us about different spaces and just show the rest of the world that there's all these different places that you can do various things in and create in and build in, and have a good time. And so we found out about y'all's place, I think, through Lighthouse. And yeah, so we're newbies just trying to learn more about it. So we'll be asking you some pretty basic questions, I imagine, and then jumping in some spaces.
Well, again, I'm excited. We love the Lighthouse team, by the way. But yeah, please, you consider me a resource here. I want to fit seamlessly into your framework, see how you do things. But anytime you do want context as to what artifacts is or any nuances of the metaverse pieces, please let me know.
Awesome, thank you. So Shelly, if we're all set up in True Band Room and everybody has jumped in there, Cece, when we're all set up with the streams, we're all good there.
Good to go, boss. Looks
Awesome.
good.
Well, I guess, pretty seamless start today. We'll just go ahead and kick it off. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Metaverse 3, where Shelly, Cece, and myself explore the metaverse every Thursday. Each week, as I've mentioned, we invite various creators, builders, and citizens of different metaverse platforms to show us their worlds and the amazing communities that create together. Today, we're here to explore Artifacts, an art metaverse platform. I'm CK, or CK Bubbles, as some of you might know me. I'm a nail artist IRL and an XR, and I ask you to explore the worlds at your fingertips and change your nail reality. Shelly and Cece, would you like to do an intro for yourselves?
I would love to. Poor Shelly. Okay. I hear your voice, or your I hear your sore throat, and I feel bad. All right. Hi, I'm Cece, a metaverse event planner, digital artist, world curator, and a one metaverse advocate. My home world is spatial, but I have found my tribe across multiple worlds in this crazy, beautiful, artistic metaverse of ours. Shelly.
Hello. I am Shelly Van. Most of you know me from the True Band Room in Decentraland. I have run over 650 live metaverse concerts, and I'm on a mission to just bring more live music to the metaverse. So if there's ever any interest there, hit me up.
Thank you both. And RD, you kind of gave a brief intro of yourself, but do you want to give a little bit deeper of a story of who you are and how you started this thing?
I would love to. So I've been in this wild space since mid 2020. And then by the beginning of 2021, I had become a collector, big artist advocate. At that time, was hosting a show called NFT Origin Stories, which interviewed almost 70 artists. And I really wanted to put a stamp on the art side of the space, and that is Artifacts. And so Artifacts, the core mission is to highlight 100 artists in a across diverse categories in a very forward-leaning way. So what that meant to us was secure smart contract and 3D. Really believe in the possibilities of 3D, extended reality, mixed reality, all the possibilities out there, the metaverses that you're exploring. I think the writing's on the wall. We love the Apple announcement, of course. But at the heart of it, when an artist comes aboard Artifacts, they create a one of one that's a loose metaphorical self-portrait. And then we collaborate with that artist to take the central feature of that into 3D. We make it a performant 3D model. We want that 3D model to be everywhere. On Cyber is probably our current favorite. They're a little bit of a project partner, but we want to see it out there flying far and wide. And where what you're about to explore today, Artifacts Unreal, the Unreal side comes in, we didn't want to stop there. We wanted to show everyone what we thought was the best, highest fidelity expression of those 3D models. And so built in Unreal 5, we began building a sort of digital museum. And so we've had 40 artists in Artifacts, and thus far we've built 12 custom worlds within Project, and we've also built an additional 7 as part of a collaboration with Time Magazine and Deepak Chopra. So I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe on artifacts.art/Unreal, which I imagine that's where you are, there's 12 custom worlds available there. So I can't wait to see. I mean, it's so fun when other people are approaching it for the first time. I I get like a kid at Christmas. It's like, what excites you? What world is your favorite? What do you notice? There's so many Easter eggs in there. So I'll take a step back and I'd love to hear more.
Awesome. Thank you for that intro. I also want to introduce Scott Moore, who does some quick tips at the end of our episode and just give a little shout out to who he is. Hi, Scott.
Hi, CK. Hi, everybody else. Yep, my name is Scott Moore. I do quick tips at the end. I'm really stoked for this. I did a little bit of a preview earlier of some of these spaces. I haven't used Unreal extensively, but I have a little bit and just know how beautiful the spaces can be. And yeah, it's just what I've seen is phenomenal. So I can't wait to get started. So I'm looking forward to this episode.
Thank you.
I am so excited too. Sorry,
No,
CK.
jump in.
As you can tell, I'm jumping the gun. I'm so excited. Thank you so much, Scott, for hopping in. RD, thank you so much for coming last minute when I messaged last night. I know you have a heart out, and I know, but I do want to remind everybody, if you are interested in following along on our adventures today, please, and you can't join us in world, we do have the show streaming on all of our platforms. So we have it on Kick, Twitch, and YouTube. I will post those links in the comments below. And I say we hop over to Lighthouse and get started, if you're okay with that, CK.
Absolutely. Sorry, I was just retweeting the space. Reminder to everybody to tweet the space out as we go along so more people can come join us and learn about it. I actually wasn't using Lighthouse to navigate necessarily. I think some of the links were broken, so I was using the actual Artifacts site. But if we want to go ahead and jump into the first space, which CC, you and I jumped into last night preemptively just to explore it, and it very much feels a lot like what's in my brain. And it makes me really excited. So let me copy this link over to the tweet. But we are going to go to Brian Brinkman's space, if that's how you say their name. It's going to be just a second to get that link over. And while we're doing that, RD, I just want to ask. So you talked about a lot about what Artifacts is. When exactly did you start it, and like what was like where, I mean, I guess with like the idea of Decentraland, you know, they were at Burning Man and they came up with an idea and then they made this platform. So was there anything like that for y'all when you were starting it and like wanting to create this platform for people? Like where did that idea come from?
think it came from me spending so much time with artists, and I was developing my conviction. So the art that I was collecting at that time was very 3D centric. There was a lot of 3D artists, and I really all my as we all do in this space, I'm convinced of it. All of our fever dreams and just letting our brains wander, our creative minds wander. I kept seeing artworks. I wanted to experience artworks in dimensions. And I found myself thinking, we're engaging with all of these platforms. At the time, Nifty Gateway was super popular, super rare, a lot of other places. We're engaging in 2D. We're constantly on a flat screen, and I just wanted it dimensionalized. I had done some exploring in AR. An artist that I greatly respect, Coldy, had shared out a really interesting IRL sort of AR use case around an artist, Dirk at Work, who is the art director of Artifacts, one of Dirk's original artworks. And my mind made a bunch of connections at once. The fever dream escalated. I reached out, of course, right away to Dirk. The idea came together. And then off we went. So he's the art director and collaborator on the 3D models specifically. And we have some other phenomenal team members who handle, he does a piece of the Unreal side, and then big love and shout out to Justin Wetch, Chewy Stoll, Laith Safa, and some other fabulous people, Allison as well.
Amazing. So I shared the link in the replies and then up at the top as well. You can click that link and it'll take you to the Artifacts site. For me, it tells me that it doesn't autoplay, so I have to click the button in order to get it to play or to load the space for anybody kind of new to jumping in. So once you've done that, you're in this sort of multicolored, maybe funhouse like moment where there's a bridge in front of you and there's a rotating room around you, just like you'd see in a funhouse. And then you can move forward on your keyboard and walk through that. And then you're in this tunnel and this tube, and it's like really fun. And it kind of like throws you through it as you navigate around it. Eee, it's so fun.
I am so curious. RD, are there any navigation like pro tips while we're in this world that you might suggest to us?
That's a great question. So really, we tried, as far as navigation goes, we tried to keep that as simple as possible. So in other words, forward, backward, side to side. You can jump, although there's no, in that world specifically, no like functional reason to. It's just a little bit of a fun thing to do. Just wanted, these experiences are built with the artist in mind, and a lot of times in direct collaboration with them. So really, as opposed to navigation pro tips, I would say observation pro tips. Just know that in each of these worlds, there's a rhyme and a reason to them, both from like some of the physics interactions that you'll experience, especially in this world. And if you don't experience them, I'll nudge you as to how to. But also the referential experiences. You have the sculpture. You have like, this is a fun house. This is modeled after Brian Brinkman's color palette. This is modeled after a New York fair that he's super nostalgic about. His artwork, Nimbuds, are in the sky as clouds. There's just so much going on that's true to his artistry. And that's what I would love to cue you on. So it's less functional pro tips, more just observational. Let your mind wander and experience all the goodness.
Yeah. No,
Sorry,
you go.
CK. One of the first things I know, I'm so excited. One of the first things I noticed was the little like smiling and frowning clouds. So it is nice to know that the artist, that's like one of their signatures. It was so cute.
Yeah, I was just gonna jump in and say, I got really excited to jump into the 3D space of it, but I did forget to mention that when you go to that website that we've linked here in the replies and up above in the billboard, and you scroll beyond just the space that you can jump in, there is an about the artist and talks about their type of art and a little bit about them, and then you do see those featured pieces that RD was talking about. And so when I first came to the site, that's what I did. I like scrolled down the page and I read everything and I looked at the art and I was like, oh, that's really fun art because it's like a person being broken in half and stretched. And then it's like all the bits between them are kind of like connecting, like you would typically see body parts, but these are very fun, almost funhouse like objects with little shapes and worms and hearts and strings. And so when you see that art and then you click into the actual 3D experience, you very much feel like, oh, I'm inside of that now. And so as you go through those tunnels, and then you come out to these little hanging, I don't know what you would call these things, kind of like punching bags almost. I'm sure there's a technical term for it that's not that. But once you get through that, then you walk out into this like open gallery, and that's where you get to see the art piece and many other art pieces. And then my favorite thing is when you look up and all of the like sort of balls and things start falling from the ceiling. That to me was like, it's actually when you get like right up onto the art piece is when they start to fall down. And there's confetti and snowflakes, and I don't know. If you have your sound on, which I don't right now because you would hear it and probably be not that clear in my phone audio, but yeah, it's just such a fun, joyous, odd space, and odd in the best way possible because I love odd things. Um,
I absolutely love it. And this, when I saw it, my heart burst and I thought, oh, CK. That's the first thing that came to my head.
yeah, that's like literally you message and you were like, CK, you have to go to this space. And I was like, I'm already there with the biggest smile on my face right now.
I have a question.
Ask away.
Okay. So when I came to the site, I was able to get into a bunch of different spaces, but I'm trying to get to the one that you linked to. I'm on my desktop and on my phone. I don't see the link, at least in the replies to the space, but I am on Brian Brinkman's page. So I clicked explore the project. I just don't know how to get into the world from here.
And you're on desktop, you said?
I am on desktop, yeah.
So when you go to his page, it'll have the top navigation and then it'll say Artifacts Unreal, Brian Brinkman. Right below that will be like a big
Hmm.
rectangle and it should start loading. You may get an alert that says autoplay disabled from your browser, and then it has a little CTA for you to click. Click that CTA. Do you see any of that?
Um, I mean, it says concept Brian Brinkman, then there's like a short bio on him to the right. It says Brian Brinkman plus artifacts, and then there's, yeah, like a square. It says original one of one. Do I click on that?
Oh, Scott, what I would suggest is if you just go to the URL artifacts.art/unreal, that'll get you to the right sort of
Okay.
framework. And then once you're there, you'll see all the artists who have these Unreal experiences, and he's one of them, and you'll be able to
Okay,
click in from there.
okay. This is where I was before. Now I recognize this. I was in BT last night. I whatever. I mean, I know you guys have your program, but when you have time, definitely go in there. Okay, thank you so much um, for helping me out.
Yeah, hopefully you can get in there. Like I said, definitely have the audio on. It's not a very like long experience. It won't take a long time to get to like the main piece of art, and then you get to spend like as much time as you want in there looking around, exploring around. Um and yeah, so take a look at that. But I do want to ask, how did you pick the artists that you have featured so far?
Yeah, these are great questions. So I believe in a co-curative process. So obviously there are some original decisions that we have to make as a team, as an internal team, but we spread the space out, the larger digital art slash NFT space out into categories. So some of those categories might be time-based, meaning the pioneers, so some of the earliest minting artists, as well as the future, some sort of up and coming younger artists. But then there's also themes. So there's the concept arts, there's photography and landscape, there's sports and music. So typically it comes down to selecting one or a few artists in and then empowering them and circling up with them to talk about who else they feel belongs in what we call a wave of the project. And so that's typically how it goes in most of our waves. So a couple early decisions are made internally, and then it becomes a co-curative process from there on, and we try to fulfill as much of that vision as possible.
And you talked about there being 100 artists. Does that mean you've picked all 100, or are you working your way there? Like, how does that work exactly?
Yeah, so we want this is a long, I mean, this is, I call it a forever, it's a forever brand. I want Artifacts to be a forever brand. So we're 40 artists into the 100, meaning so 40 artists have released 3D models and they're one-of-ones with us. 12 of those 40 we've built these custom immersive experiences for. Our vision is to obviously build for all of them, but it just takes a little bit more time. And also Unreal, we started doing that a little bit into the project. So some of the earliest artists who came in and did their one-of-ones in 3Ds, we weren't doing these high fidelity worlds at that time. So we have to sort of go back in time and bring them forward into existence. As far as the future of the project, so 40 is only 40 and our vision is 100. And we want this to be a digital museum of 100. I would say we're about 70 or 80 artists that are pretty much filled out and they'll release over time. So there's a little bit of wiggle room at the end, but I think that's good because this is years long. We released the first in May of 2021. And now we crossed our 2-year anniversary. And I imagine, we plan to be here for quite some time. So there's some years ahead of us and the space is going to evolve and the artists in it will evolve. And so having a little bit of that wiggle room at the end of the 100 allows us to navigate with the space too.
That's awesome. So for the spaces that you haven't filled out, like for people who are maybe listening that would like to be considered for that, should they reach out? Like, is this purely like you will be finding people, or like is it collaborative? Like, how do you, I guess, how can anyone get involved if they want to be?
Yeah, so what we encourage, so the 100 process, which is the one facet of artifacts, that's pretty fixed in nature. I would say, I mean, definitely come hang with us, spend time with us. We're on Spaces actually after this. So it's one of the reasons I was so excited to do this. It's like, well, I'm going to be live at 1. I might as well come hang with you guys for, a solid hour or close to it. So it worked out really, really well. Come spend time in the community. What we do is a multitude of things outside of it. We have a little spotlight series that we want to do more with. We have a Powered by Artifacts branch, which is sort of how we do what we do for others or with others in collaborative fashion. And then we have the podcast itself and the spaces. So we try to feature artists there. So I would say start there because that's accessible. You can come hang with us. We have an open stage at some of these. Yeah, just come hang, get involved, and then from there, the spotlights I think is a more accessible thing. But hey, we plan to be here for years. Artists evolve over the course of those years. It's a never say never kind of thing with the core project. Yes, it's almost filled out, but there is that wiggle room, and we are always watching artists on the rise. And so yeah, let's see where the future goes.
I love that because I will say from a lot of the spaces we're in, Spatial, Hyperfied, Decentraland, Mona, tons of artists, really talented people. So I'm sure a lot of people would like to get involved in that. In addition to that, I've shared the artist number 2 that we'll go check out, which is BT. So it's in the replies and it's also up in the billboard if you want to click into that, and we will jump into that next space.
Yeah, I hopped in a little early because I was here last evening and I think it was the audio experience that really like wowed me. I don't know if we want to share a little bit of that when you get in here, CK.
Yeah, I can attempt to play some audio through my phone. I don't know how great it will sound, but yeah, it's interesting that you noted that because when you look at BT's bio, they're a Grammy nominated trance music pioneer. And so, hearing Grammy nominated, it's like, oh, no wonder you, were really paying attention to the music because this is something that they really like to do. So I'm gonna click in here. Let me turn my volume up real fast. Give me just.
Oh, yes. And RD, I definitely want to have a nerd session with, is it Justin who does the building in Unreal?
He's one of the main builders there. Yep.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful. I'm really enjoying even just the little firefly sort of element. That was just a lovely little detail in this particular environment. I love it.
Okay, let me know if y'all can hear this. Okay, so it sounds like we're kind of outside. There's some crickets. I see beach, some light grass, maybe a hill behind me, some trees. that was a little taste of it. So yeah, as you walk from where you kind of spawn in into the 3D space, you walk back towards the screen, and as you do, the music kicks on and a visual plays to the music. That is very cool. Yeah, this is a really awesome space. It looks like, it features these two art pieces, the BT artifacts and the lingering pines. BD or RD, sorry, do you have anything about this space, a little more context that we may not have just from visiting this page to add?
Yeah, would love to. So BT is the first music experience we did. He's actually our most recent artifacts. And it was mind-boggling to us to consider music in 3D. I mean, how do you do that? So we constructed an object that meant quite a lot to BT. I mean, if you don't know BT, again, you flagged he's Grammy nominated. He is brilliant. He is a prodigy. He's ahead of the AI curve. He's doing all sorts of amazing things. Um, what we did in this space is we built his blockchain career step by step, meaning you encounter three of his historically significant works in the blockchain space in order. And then what you do as you navigate this world, you ultimately, when you make those encounters, arrive at the reveal. And the reveal, I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but you essentially unlock the custom track that he created for this artifacts collaboration, which is it was an awesome moment to hear it for the first time, and now to have others do the same in the space.
That's so awesome. I also noticed, Scott, you were able to post the first artist Twitter, so thank you for that. And if you happen to catch BTs as well, please do share that as well. I'd love to get all the artist tags so we can get everyone following them and getting to know them as well.
I just definitely I will, and I'm hesitant to post any video or footage from this. Just like Artie was saying, I even posted this on the other one. It's like, don't just watch the video that I posted. You got to come in and experience it. And CK, like one of my favorite places in Decentraland is to go to the Asian Plaza and just sit underneath the cherry blossom trees. And this is, this definitely rivals that, just with the audio and the fact that it's done in Unreal 5, not just with the fireflies, but there's the sound of the wind, and right now I'm just watching so many thousands of blades of grass that are blowing in the wind, in this dark scene. I just want to mention how tranquil it is, and really there's no like captured visuals that I think can approximate it. It really needs to be experienced. So yeah, I'm really mesmerized by this one.
I love that you brought up the grass, because when I was like first describing it, I was like, "Oh, it sounds like we're outside and crickets." And I turned around and I just saw the little bit of grass in the darkness on the edge. And then it started to like come into focus what it was a little bit more, and I was like, "Wow." I was just staring at it for a second, like, look at it flowing, cuz I think many of us who are playing in these metaverse spaces, for obvious reasons, we understand why the technology and everything, for the scale that it is, for the amount of people that are in there, for the parties we have. We can't have it look like a video game necessarily right now. But when we do get to go into some of these spaces that use Unreal or some of these other ways to create these more high fidelity graphics, we're always blown away. So, yeah, this is one of those spaces that really blows me away too. I do want to ask, do you, RD, do you guys ever plan to make these spaces anything bigger than they are, or bigger experiences? Or do you always want them to kind of be like, here's the art, and then here's like an extension of that art through a 3D space?
Oh, definitely something bigger. So how this began, we have constructed an environment that houses all of this. And that's how we had started to distribute. Because what we really envision this as is a monstrous digital museum featuring 100 of the best to do it across diverse categories. Like this mind-blowing, you can portal to all of these instantaneously. But in practice, it was hard to access some of those worlds before it's sort of all built out. Because if you could close your eyes and envision, it's sort of this central gallery with 10 doors, and then there's portals within each. So without the 100 artists released, some of the doors would be a little scarce. So we said, you know what? Let's shelve that for a minute and let's give it to people in the most directly accessible manner. So, for example, when one of BT's collectors or fans finds us and what we did with him, we want them to be able to jump right into what they want to see, which is it's BT's world. And then if they're so fascinated, something else that we're doing, fantastic, but we want to give them their good stuff right away. Ultimately, in the future, I mean, we envision this as this massive interactive, all tied together experience that, yes, does have this sort of connective tissue environment surrounding it.
That's amazing. Yeah, because I just from, what the two spaces we've looked at so far, I feel a need to want to go deeper and explore more of these worlds and um just like learn more about these artists too. So I'm happy that you shared a little bit in the beginning about the spaces y'all do and the spotlights you do so that we can continue to learn more artists and kind of learn more about the community here because I'm in. I mean, I was in from the first space we jumped into, but I'm even more in now.
I'm really excited about your roadmap or your project outline. I went through it last night. Really excited about the cross-platform sort of piece that you guys are looking at doing, where you can take these artworks, these NFTs, these 3D assets that you're creating and take them across worlds with you. Can you share a little bit more about that piece of the project?
Yeah, so the 3D is the key. That's what we like to say internally, at least. And we really do want people to be able to take those 3Ds everywhere. And so I'll give you a little alpha. We have been teasing it lately, and I would love to give you a beta. So if you happen to have an iPhone and you want it, please DM me, and I'm going to give you an early beta. It's free, no frills. It's just I'm biased, but I think it's awesome. So the next big the next big domino to fall in for us, and this is taking what we do to a major ecosystem, is building a native iOS app. And so we built this around all 40 of the current artifact sculptures, and obviously we'll expand it every time we release one. But it gives you this really seamless object viewer, and it allows you to immediately take it into augmented reality. So bring the sculpture into your living room, into your local park. And obviously when we release this app officially, which actually should be within the next several weeks, we're really going to encourage, I mean, we do want to see these sculptures far and wide. So I imagine we'll probably do some fun challenges and maybe give away a few things, but nothing fires us up more than things like what you're doing now on the Unreal side. And then whenever someone takes an actual 3D and shows us it in their reality, whatever that means, whether it's digital or physical. Really, really fun.
I really love the AR XR aspect of your project. I believe it so strongly, and I think CK can agree that it's a really good sort of onboarding tool for community into the metaverse. And these pieces are so attractive. I see them doing really good work in advancing our industry. So thank you for that, RD.
Yeah, I mean, y'all all know I've done AR. I've done AR nails in a couple different ways on both the mobile platforms with Spark and Snap, and I plan to expand beyond that even more. So anytime I hear anyone talking about AR, XR, anything like that, I get really into it because I see so many of our skills and how we build in Decentraland or how we build in spatial or other places, whether we're programmers or we're 3D modelers, it translates to AR. And we should be making AR experiences as well with the things we make for other worlds. Like you already have the model. You just got to figure out how to rig it to a body or, if you're going to do world effects or sky effects or whatever it is. There's so many ways that you can sort of expand upon this thing you're making in one space and have it be this whole universe around it. So I love to hear that, especially with art and bringing more like art within that world because I think, at first with AR, art, oh, we put art on the walls, that was like kind of a common thing that started, but, you know, it's kind of been forgotten a little bit and now it's more about like what's on your face and what's on your body. And I want people to get back to the art of it because like there are so many things you can do immersively with AR to just get into a piece of art. Just like these 3D spaces is expanding, you know, the artwork itself into an immersive space. Like that excites me so much. So yeah, thank you for that. I look forward to seeing more.
Guess where I'm at? I'm at our next artist and I am losing my mind. And RD, you are the only person on the planet Earth that could make me feel jealous about iPhone users right now. I am a hardcore Android user and I have never wanted an iPhone until those little words came out of your mouth and my little heart just crushed. So
We'll
thanks
get to
for that.
we will get there. It won't. It's our first step will be Apple, but Android is absolutely in our minds. We will make the
Oh,
app
thank
over them.
God.
Yes. So, Cece, you are in the Chewy Stole place, correct?
Yes, you're going to love what comes next. Oh, the babies are up, so I'm going to need a couple minutes. But yeah.
Yeah, so I shared the link in the replies and up in the billboard again for you to click through. So this is Chewy Stoll. They refer to themselves as the Dolly of NFTs and uses surreal landscapes and distorted human forms to craft emotive narratives. They have their artifacts and then the Meeting the Maker art piece. I believe RD Chewy is a part of the team.
Yeah, he's part of the team, and so actually, this you just witnessed the most recent Artifacts Unreal space, and that was BT's, and then now you're going back to the very first one that we ever built, and it was at the time a proof of concept, obviously built internally. The only artist in project that's internal is Chewy, so it just made sense to start there. And as you'll see as you go through it, there's some storytelling, and it's one of the more extensive experiences. You kind of, and again, I want you to talk through it, not me, but just to give you sort of the three stages of the experience. You have the story of Chewie, the surreal massive sculpture of Chewie, but then you have an extended sort of museum-esque room where you see a lot of his a lot of the artwork that he's done across his career.
Yeah, I was just going up to. So when you spawn into the space, there's sort of these large tablets on the side that have these stories, and you know, from near-death experience to coming out, you know, there's a lot to explore here, and this person has had quite a wild life just from those first two tablets, which I can relate to one of those. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's really cool to see the different sort of vibes that people have, you know, like this is such a different world from the last one to the first one, and they're all like just so beautifully textured. I mean, the metallics on these sculptures, like I don't even know how to describe what that material is because it is a metallic, but it also kind of looks transparent, but it kind of seems like water. It's like I can't quite put my hand on it. It's very organic. It's very alien, and I'm here for it, especially amongst the more like kind of traditional, maybe like hieroglyphics that the space gives.
I love the dancer. That's what I've named it. I don't know its actual name, but there's a piece of this sort of like mercurial, I guess we're gonna say, of it, what looks like two dancers in just one of the most beautiful like. I'm in love and I'm staring at it. That's all I know. And I have so many thoughts and ideas and stories. So this is definitely a place I could see myself um, parking my avatar and just enjoying it while I work or something. So this is a really beautiful environment. I love it.
Yeah, I think a lot of us who build in Decentraland are probably pretty jealous of some of these metallics. I think we wish we could have easier and more metallics than having to do it through sort of texture imaging. But you know, it makes me excited to consider playing around with Unreal because I've been around it like through my day job, but never like touched it and played with it and built with it myself. But this just makes me excited to want to like keep pushing my skills and seeing what I can do. And so,
I love that.
RD, you
Yeah,
had
sorry.
mentioned that you all build out the spaces for the artists. Have any of the artists built them out besides Chewy, because they're on their team? But have any of them built out their spaces themselves? Like, do you find that a lot of people have the capabilities to build in Unreal and you sort of let them run with it, or do you guys just handle all of them?
I would say it's rarer right now. We have several artists who are really interested in it, and so they'll get more involved in the concepting and the different stages of it. We have an artist who will release with us, who has released with Artifacts but doesn't yet have a world. And we've actually built together, and she took the major brunt of it in the Time collaboration that I mentioned. We have those 7 separate worlds that we did for that they ran an exhibition on time.com and all sorts of great stuff with Deepak Chopra, and that's Blake Catherine. And so in Blake Catherine's case, and she, by the way, she's done some wild collaborations with globally famous K-pop bands and some amazing artists. But she did shoulder the brunt of her Unreal World in that Time collaboration. She's again very talented, knows a thing or two about Unreal, and so she made our lives a lot easier and got us 80% of the way there, and then we did some of the optimization, and off we went. But I will tell you an interesting story. I do have to hop soon, so and again, I don't want to interrupt your tour. You're doing a fabulous job, but if I could just mention one thing because it applies here. One of the tougher builds that we did, but it ended up being one of the most fruitful, was Jonathan Wolf's. And Jonathan Wolf, he's a painter, and he paints in 2D. And that was really the core vision of Artifacts, was step inside the art. That's one of our taglines. We'd like to say that we want to bring you literally inside the art. If you can imagine the Mona Lisa, we want to bring you into that room with the Mona Lisa. So for Jonathan Wolf's artwork, it was an exercise in literally stepping into his painting, and that was something that had never before happened. So great, off we went. Where that landed, it sort of blew all our minds collectively, and so much so that the day after that collaboration, Jonathan Wolf said, I'm learning 3D now, because that opened my brain and sort of took me to a different place. So I just wanted to tell that little anecdote. It's one of my favorites.
I love that. And that was such perfect timing too, because I was just posting in the replies and up in the billboard Jonathan Wolf Space, because that was the next one on our list. So I'm loading into it now. Quick question though before we get in there. The quotes that you see on the install pages, what were the inspiration around adding those?
We can't take credit for those. So we do to distribution was a big deal to us, right? So one way to distribute these Unreal Worlds would have been to force a download. And we were a little hesitant because when we first were started doing these spaces, there were obviously, as we know in the blockchain era, there's unfortunately some scams that percolate, and people were a little wary of downloading full files in the space. And so we wanted to respect that and figure out a way to get it to you without you having to put anything on your computer. So that's why we went the way that we did. Now that requires a pixel streaming provider, and so right now the service that we use for that is named Furios, and Furios, that is sort of their de facto load screen environment. So we owe those quotes to Furios.
Awesome. Yeah, they're always fun. Like some of them I hadn't read before, and I was like, oh, interesting. I didn't know that person said that, or so that's always like a cool little something instead of just watching a bar load. But I'm in the space now, and it's skateboarding cats.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm loading now. But yes, skateboarding cats has piqued my interest.
I mean, it's two things I love, so I'm here for it. And I love that you get to like go up the ramps. One thing I'm noticing though, I see what might be like a bit of my avatar. I don't know if that's what I'm seeing in the bottom left. Do we have avatars in here?
No, not as of yet. Not as of yet. No avatars.
Okay.
Are you manifesting that into
No, it's
existence?
just when I
Ooh,
see a
yes.
little hand, like a little robot hand on the left. Every now and again it like
Oh,
throws its hand into frame.
oh, cool, interesting. Yeah. So normally, these are so there's an option that you have when you do these builds. So either seeing the avatar or sort of existing through its eyes. So we sort of choose the latter path. But interesting, if you see a hand throw up, I'll have to dive back in there and experiment more
Yeah, I'll
myself.
try to screenshot it because it happened so quick that like at first I just thought it was like in the scene I was in there was like some rain and I was like, oh, it's probably just like a rain splatter or something. I don't know, hitting the camera, kind of like what happens in video games. And then I was like, no, that's definitely a hand. That is a robot hand. It's cool though. But yeah, so this space is really fun. It's looks like you just kind of come into like a little neighborhood skate park and you've got some cats skating and some of these colorful beings walking around. The trees are fun. They're almost like I don't even know what kind of paint that is, but you can definitely see the strokes of the paintbrush on it. It's super fun, and I love like it reminds me a little bit of there's like tagging on some of the half pipes and stuff, and it reminds me a little bit of what some people do in some other spaces in Hyperfy where, you know, friends will tag their names on it so it looks like a bunch of teenage kids came through here. So yeah, this one's really fun.
That's so cute. I'm still trying to load. I wonder if the server is full. I'm not sure how that works for you guys, but I see cute little like humanoid bodies, and I do see a cat on a ramp in the load-in screen, but I'm so excited. I want to see what's next.
Yeah, this one.
Cece, I'm gonna jump out to make room for you because I was able to get in and it's magical.
Oh, I love magic, especially with cute. I love the color. The color palette is really attractive to me. It hits me in all my good feels. So I'm really excited to check this out.
Yeah, that one took a little bit longer for me to load than some of the other ones, but I was able to get in just fine. I do notice that if you reload the page, it will ask you to like continue session or start new session. What are the sessions? I'm assuming that's through that partner you use, Artie.
Yeah, exactly. So we cap those sessions at 10 minutes, um, which is a natural. We build the worlds pretty bite sized, and then yeah, if you go past 10 minutes, it'll cut session and then just sort of force you to reload. And so if you want to spend more time in, you can absolutely do that and then launch right back in. But why we do that functionally is because we use a pixel streaming provider. There is it's pretty cost effective, but there is obviously some cost to hosting that. So what we wanted to protect against was someone essentially jumping in, leaving their computer, coming back the next day, having a good solid 24-hour session on their hands. You know.
And people will do that. Yeah, we've been known to do that.
I see a person walking. I'm sorry.
Are you in?
I'm so in. Oh, there's another person. Should I follow the people? I want to follow the people or the humanoids. Oh, they're walking. They're doing a walking path. Look at them getting their exercise. Oh my God. Yes, please. I'm here for it. Ooh, CK, I see what you mean about the paint strokes. That's beautiful. And then some of the paint is very like thinly laid, so it's almost like stained glass in like portions of the tree, which you totally get in IRL in a certain way when springtime comes and the trees start glowing green because the little buds are starting to pop out and they're still really translucent. That's the vibe I'm getting.
I love that. That was such a great detailed description. I was like, it kind of reminds me of watercolor, but then I was like, but it's not that paint. So you did it much better than I would have.
I'm obsessed with nature. It's my vibe. Oh, look at the cats. Oh my gosh. RD, I know you have to leave soon because you have like a big space coming up, but if you see this artist, please tell them they have a new like disciple.
I will do that. And listen, I would stay and hang with you for hours longer. Like I mean that seriously. I so appreciate how each of you are looking at these spaces and what you're noticing, and it really resonates deeply with me. So I'm gonna catch up to the remainder after. I
For
wonder,
sure.
just since I
I
do have
see
to hop,
Pepe. Oh,
let's
sorry, RD, go.
let's go. Um, I wonder if I could leave a couple notes. Again, I don't want to spoil the tour, but I just want to make sure a couple aspects of other worlds that you have in mind as you go. Do you mind if I mention a few things?
Absolutely. Share with them.
Floor is yours.
Okay, so thank you so much. And okay, what do I want to say here? Let's see. I want to leave you with a couple thoughts. So the Josh Pierce world. I just want you to know a little bit of the backstory there. Josh Pierce not only has a really distinct visual style, but he also he meditation and aspects of meditation resonate deeply. So what I want you to know about the Josh Pierce space is it actually has a custom meditation track created by Josh Pierce to be exactly 5 minutes long, and you walk to essentially a stand in the center, and once you're on it, that's sort of your perfect ambiance. You're meant to just stay still and observe and look around you. So you can both romp around in the space and explore around it, but I just want you to know that the intent of it, 5 minute pure meditation track from start to finish, and it's a great day ender. That's note number one. Note number two, let's see. I'll leave you 3 notes and I'll cap myself, I promise at that. Note number two, I do want to make sure you check out Raf Grissetti's space. So Raf Grissetti, for those who don't know, he was the art director of God of War, globally renowned video game, considered one of the top of all time. He's now developing an original AAA property for Netflix. He is just he's commonly referred to as the Michelangelo of digital stone. So you can imagine that doing this with him is, like a career achievement kind of thing. And was really, really felt deeply. We were able to build, modeled after something that mattered to him, his atelier. So we built it modeled after an Italian sculpting studio. Actually used some images and based it off of that. And he was really, really happy with where we ended up. So you'll see a figure representing him at work in his own ambiance there. That's my second note. And then I was going to cap at 3. So one more. Okay, I'll make this one really simple. The Roger Kilimanjaro world is not what it appears as. So when you enter, make sure you look around and make sure you have fun. And if you want to release stress, it's a way to release stress that's a lot different from the Josh Pierce world. So I will leave you with that.
I love it. Thank you so much, RD. I really appreciate you hopping in, and I know you got another space to go to. We are going to continue our adventures.
Yeah, I do want to ask one question though before you hop, RD. Explain what the community is like on Artifacts.
Yeah, we and I want to give a special shout. There's a member of the Artifacts community in here, Double D, who, I mean, I say this about a lot of our community members, but we wouldn't be here without, literally. And Artifacts has settled into this really beautiful community where we're not the most viral Discord, but we have this like deeply rooted community. We have 17 full set collectors. That means so every artist has a 100 sculpture edition. So if you can imagine, there are 17 people who have every single one of them, and a couple people who are hot on the heels of doing that. That's a pretty interesting phenomenon to me. But long-term view, I think, defines our community. No, not dissimilar from yourselves, what you've shared about your vision for the future, your vision for XR and the future. I mean, we're very much aligned on that, and our community has stepped into that role as well. They're long-term thinkers. They're not commenting 17 times in a day, but they're very much there and they're felt. And if you pan out over the course of a week, the way we interact with them on Discord and Twitter, I don't know, there's a lot of cool opportunities for deep interaction. So I would say that's a hallmark of our community. Not the most go virally active, but very deeply rooted, believers in the space, believers in blockchain ownership, believers in the XR future. And everything that we do, from the Apple app to what you're experiencing today in Unreal 5, we're excited to deliver it to them because they're showing the same belief that we have. And so it becomes this really nice symbiosis.
Amazing. Thank you for that. I will share the Discord in the replies and up in the billboard as well for everybody.
And thank you all so much. So I'm going to hop here. I'm going to come back and listen to the rest of the spaces later. Got the tweets out. I'm going to reflect on this and just appreciate you for how you're approaching this. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Hope you have a great spaces. I'll try to jump in right after this.
For sure. All love, RD. Thank you so much.
Okay, so the next space that we were talking about is
Josh Pierce, I think. Oh
yes,
my gosh.
Josh Pierce, indeed. Sorry, I had to go through the list there.
I am in, and you are going to swoon, CK, with this water. We need Canessa's emote right now. Oh, by the way, I totally saw the Unreal Engine avatar hand sweeping through the. Yes, you totally saw a hand. Is all I gotta say.
Thank you.
I saw it
Thank
myself.
you. I was like, I know I didn't make this up.
On the video clip
I
that
mean,
that I posted at about 12 seconds for Jonathan Wolf's, you can see it. You can see the robot hand. So yes, you weren't hallucinating.
Yeah. No, I mean, we do hallucinate. We're all a little crazy, but that was real.
Okay, I am just posting it in the replies. Let me get it up in the billboard here for those following along.
Oh my gosh. Oh, AJ, the detail work in here. Your eyeballs are going to pop out if you haven't seen it already. The fern, okay, this is definitely my vibe. It's a beautiful sort of clearing with a pond, and the ferns that are sort of gathering around at the edge of the pond are are moving along with the grass. They have this sort of gentle sway to imply there's a breeze, there's a soft night sky. Like we're talking like seduction romance vibes right now. Oh my God, there's birds flying. Oh my, get in here, guys. Marvel with me.
I am loading right now.
Now, Lolita, which is my PC, is trying to take off. So I think the graphics on this are wild.
Yeah, it has me in the queue. So once some people go and explore it, I'll be able to jump in. So yeah, it's all you on this one, Cece, for now.
Well, I mean, nature girl. So in the middle of this pond is, I believe, the place where I am supposed to um, sit, because the in the rock, embedded in the rock, is that iconic sort of yogi position. And so there is a beautiful sort of waterway leading up to what looks like, I'm guessing, is going to be symbolic of the tree of life. There is this, halo aura around it, and the tree of life has these red leaves, a la, the tree of life in, well, oh my gosh, the King of the North, Jon
Oh, I
Snow.
was like, are we talking Game of Thrones here?
Yeah, Game of Thrones. You know how Game of Thrones, there was the tree of life and it had the red leaves, and
Mm,
it was just like really, so we're talking that sort of vibe, tree of life, like um, the place where I think it's supposed to be the focal point of your meditation. So you can clear your mind, you can release, and you can just enjoy the moment. And I am going to bet the audio is just beautiful. The soundscape, which I'm a freak for. I love a good soundscape.
So
Um,
I was just gonna,
Go for it,
I was just
AJ.
gonna add, I'm in now also, and I can't wait to come back and listen to the audio. But this is one of the timepieces collections. Um, I don't think Josh Pierce has a Twitter, um, but this is what's called the Seven Collection with timepieces and Deepak Chopra. I'll put a link. This tweet is from January 19th. So if people want to look further into that, I'll leave that link with the captured video that I post.
yes, I finally got in, and I remember visiting this space last night actually as I was going through some of them and picking the spaces for today, and this one is beautiful. I mean, it's one of those things kind of like the BT space was, right? Like the environment itself is just so beautiful, and it does evoke major emotions no matter what that is to you, and it makes me just feel calm and want to relax and just be here. And this is the one that has the 5 minute yoga soundtrack, correct?
Yes. You guys, my toes curled. I came to the tree, and there's butterflies, and they're beautiful, and I want to cry.
I was waiting for you to find that because it kind of reminds me, didn't you have a spatial space with a tree and you can kind of like, or like a lotus and you could like
Yes,
sit?
my neon gallery. Yes,
Yeah.
with the butterflies. I'm crying. I'm literally. Oh my God, I'm such a baby. Oh, Shelly, please rescue me.
Yeah, sorry, I was just I did find Josh Pierce on Twitter. He's jpierce_art. I just posted it in the comments as well.
Thank you. I'll definitely get that shared.
Oh my goodness. This is so beautiful. Unreal is unreal, brah. Like, oh my gosh. Um, yeah. Oh, and there's sweet little, I think they're poppies. Is that the red flower? Um, and the butterflies are just, there's so many of them just flitting around, enjoying their little butterfly life.
The butterflies are
And
my
if you,
favorite part.
yeah, I love it. And you look up into the the canopy of the tree and you see like a crow just kind of chilling. But the red and the detail, yeah, I think AJ, I agree. I need to come back and with myself and experience this full experience, so I can fall deeply in love with Josh Pierce and what's inside of their brain. Yes, definitely.
Sorry, I'm just looking through the tweets here. I see Josh Pierce. Okay. Should we do we want to sit here for a minute? Do we want to jump to a new place? What are we thinking?
I think we should jump. I'm really excited. Our RD gave us a couple extra ones that we might want to explore. And while I absolutely could live here in this space, I do want to give time to the amazing artists.
Yeah, so let me copy. There's two more that he talked about. Oops. So let me get those copied over so I can paste them in the replies. But I think, yeah, we should definitely go to the two that he mentioned, which is the Raf Grassetti one and then the Roger Kilimanjaro. So the first one we'll do is the Raf.
Sounds good. Hopping in.
Which I believe this is the one that is the person who worked on God of War, if I remember correctly.
Ah, yes, yes. I believe so, yes.
That is
yes.
that is correct. My notes, I have that, and the Michelangelo of Digital Stone.
Michelangelo. Oh, I love note taking. Thank you so much. I love that quote. Michelangelo of Digital
So
Stone. I mean, to be honest, like, oh,
no,
sorry, CK.
you go ahead. Sorry.
That's okay. We love talking over each other. It's just so fun. I'm sorry. I just love it because from a marketing standpoint, if you can, I guess, present yourself as a certain thing that is very recognizable, it's really good for your brand overall. So, I just that it's just very clever, and it gets so much across in just a very few words, which I think is genius.
Especially because it probably was like a title bestowed upon, But me oh my, when you come in here, it is absolutely the truth. Look at the detail on these. I pinned it, or I put it in the replies, and it's up in the billboard. Artist space number 7. This is Raf Grassetti. No pun intended. It's unreal. How detailed this is.
This is insane. I immediately was attracted to the cherub on the ball. Like immediately, the detail in the face on this one. And then like the lighting, the shading, the whole kit and caboodle, my eyeballs were like stuck to it.
Go up to a gold object and just pan in a circle and look at it glitter.
I am a magpie. I am attracted to shiny objects. Oh, wow. Ooh, I love the human body with the infinity sort of gold. What is that? The ancient Egyptians put like body parts in these like clay pots. I don't know if there's a name for it.
Mummification.
Yeah, so one of the mummification jars, that's what it looks like, with an infinity symbol inside of this human's chest. I'm like, okay, that speaks to me.
Yeah, looking at Raf's page, it says that they're a sculptor of digital stone, and then they create the intersection of high-end craft and concept. He has immortalized a diverse collection of fine art characters and memes. And so the featured art pieces are the Raf Grassetti artifacts, because there's always an artifacts piece, and then Rebirth, which is in the very back center of the room. It's the snake that's kind of coiled around this stone with a spear, or I'm not sure what that object is.
That's really cool. I'm looking at it like head on, and you can sort of see it looks like smoke or a overlay, kind of to, I guess, suggest morning light and like the dust particles in an artist's studio, because of course they're carving granite and there's always dust in the room. So they're really trying to give you that palpable sense of being in an artist studio IRL, which I think is the level of detail. Oh, this Justin fellow, I am going to give him an earful as if I ever get to talk to him, is all I got to say.
Yeah, I feel like we've done this tour right, and the way it's sort of like led from space to space to space and leading to this beauty of a space. I don't know, like I just want to touch it. I wish I could reach my little metaverse hands out and touch it.
This would look intense in AR. I'm in the snake's mouth. Well, not in it, but I'm like as close as I can get to the snake's mouth. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if this were on my desk or in my house right now, I could like really go up to it and almost touch it. Like, I'm into it. I'm down. I am scared of snakes. I want this in my house. This is weird. I'm confused.
Shelly, you have your hand up?
So I'm experiencing this with the people in the True Band Room in Decentraland. And Cece, your initial reaction to this with the sound effect of your eyeball popping out, I internally was like, oh, that was well done. I would like to hear that again, please. And Bitfiend had the exact same response in comments on a delay because, you know, the stream there is 30 seconds behind. So I just had to verbalize that you have fans of the impressive lip pop sound effect. Well done.
I'm so glad I could provide a service for my community.
I love it.
One little detail that I'd just like to point out, as somebody who has done both subtractive and additive sculpture, lost wax, yeah, just the grit of the place, um, especially with the cloud of dust and the volumetric lights coming through that. But also, did you notice it's like a bronze sculpture of a sculptor over by there's a couple of angels and one of them is in the process of being carved. I just thought it was like interesting that, you know, sometimes an artist will put themselves in their art, and I wonder if that's what's happening here.
Yeah, I noticed the bronze sculptor sculpting. That one, believe it's on the right when you walk in.
Yeah, correct. If you're
Yeah.
looking at the snake, it's to the right.
Yeah, that I thought that was interesting too, especially because it's not just like, oh, I put a real version of the person doing it. It's a bronze sculpture of the sculptor. Um,
And the finished piece, you can kind of almost imagine the finished angel is what he's currently working on. So this is sort of like a snapshot of the process. And then if you move to the right, you see the finished product almost. It could almost be construed as sort of like a storyboard.
yeah.
I think part of what Artifacts creates in that everything in a virtual space has to be, you know, decided and implemented, right? Everything in here is part of the artist's vision. So there's like not one thing, like even the hand truck, the hand cart over on the left hand side next to the um, you know, big chunks of unfinished marble, like the rough hewn marble, like all of those are placed there for a very specific reason. Like if you've been to art installations, you can kind of get that sense. So what may appear to be mundane and normal, it I think it transcends and becomes artistic and intentional.
Beautifully said, AJ. I don't think I could have said it better myself. I love. I came over because you mentioned the marble blocks, and looking at it, kind of stepped back. I noticed the shadow of the hand of the piece behind, technically quote unquote behind me, draped over, sort of like giving me even more depth into this environment as art. So I just noticed that, and thank you for sharing that because I saw something new and it's beautiful. Oh,
Yeah, Shelly and I were just talking in DCL about how this has been like such an amazing art field trip that, when you suggested the name of this place, I was like, oh, what is that? I've never even heard of it. And then we looked at the lighthouse page, and very easy to jump in, to understand it, to explore. Like, probably the most seamless process of any space that I've ever jumped in. Like, hands down, like super easy to jump in and just get acquainted with. And I'm I said it earlier in the space, but I'm a big fan, and I can't wait to see what else and jump into their spaces and learn more about them and see what they're doing. Do we want to do one last space before we start to wrap up? Because I do need to pop out myself soon.
Yes, I just hopped into the Kilimanjaro, Roger Kilimanjaro, and I just want to remind everybody, they've only done 40 of the 100. So we could very well do like a follow-up space for artifacts when they have the next, I think he said wave, or the next installation of artists ready to go. I definitely want to follow along and learn more and, be exposed to so much beauty and culture, all from the comfort of my humble abode,
Oh,
for sure.
oh. So if you walk forward in the Kilimanjaro space, which is in the replies and up in the billboard, you you can knock the podium over, and I threw the art on the floor.
I too bumped the podium, and now the art is just a ball on the floor.
Well, I do
Uh-oh.
see a big neon that says reset room. So maybe if I go there. Oh, it did. Oh no, but it fell off on its own. I didn't even do anything.
Oh no, and I froze, so I am resetting.
This is hilarious. This is like my worst fear, right? Like, you go somewhere and you just cause like such a clumsy scene. Because I'm a very clumsy person. But I just, like, every time I see something that's very precariously like sat on something, I'm like, don't break, don't fall, don't run into it. And this is like it come to life.
I think maybe that's why our new friend was chuckling a little when he mentioned this space.
Yeah, I think so too. I know that this is probably intentional. And it's recording. Oh my gosh, if you go backwards, there's a camera recording you doing it.
So you're caught in the act,
Well,
and
you yourself as a physical form is not caught, but the act, yes. That is hilarious.
oh
I
my
really
gosh.
hope they are actually filming this and using this content in something, because that would be hilarious.
I love it. I got kicked out, so I'm trying to reload so I can finish experiencing it. But could you talk about the piece on the wall that was making me hypnotic? The blue painting.
Yeah, so I actually closed out quickly because I was trying to let you get in, but it looks like that piece is called Focus, and so it seems to be the object that's on the podium in the center, and then there's almost like blue and gold whirlpool waves that are sort of circling in to a point where that actual uh, orb thing is, and it looks like it's like a half, like it's a clear orb, and inside of it is half circle of gold, and then the other half circle is a bunch of sort of like tubes, all kind of like wrapped and tied and tangled together. It almost has like a brain-like feel, even though it's not a brain. I don't know why my thought first went there. But that is the Kilimanjaro Artifacts art piece, and then yeah, the Focus art piece is that within the swirling blue in the frame on the wall.
I love that you called the sphere sort of brain-like, because I think it's the color kind of gives you that, like, oh, I guess if brain matter had to have a color, that would be pretty close to it. And then of course, like the tubular sort of like undulations. So no, I also was like, oh, it was kind of brainy.
Yeah. And then, so reading Roger Kilimanjaro's bio, it says that they are elegant, period. which I love. I want to do a one word about myself forever now in my bio. Uh, and then it says, via experimentation with materials and physical interactions, he has delighted the NFT world with clean and satisfying loops, often including elements of playfulness. So, yeah, I think it's meant to be this very sort of chic, sophisticated with element of playful, which is probably why we were able to knock over the podium and the object and feel like we messed it up while it's being photographed. But yeah, this has been such a fun space to end on. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I hope you can get it.
I love it too. Yes, I finally loaded in again, and it's such a brain for
Yeah.
sure. Um, I love it. And the playfulness of the artist really, really tickles me because personally, like, I feel like a lot of artists, are very, very serious in a lot of ways. And, that's totally fine. But when I run across somebody who is playful and, smiles and enjoys a good joke, um, I don't know. I love them that much more. I don't know if that makes sense, but I'm drawn to them. Um, so yeah. So if you're an artist, be funny. No, I'm joking.
No, but I think it does add there's a time and a place for very serious, very sleek art, but then, there's also very much a time for it to be playful and not serious. I think sometimes we take our lives a little too seriously, so it's always nice to be reminded of the joy and imaginativeness of what we can do in these spaces. So, yeah, always play and have fun, because I enjoy it. Not just for me, but I'm sure a lot of other people do as well. Well, I guess I'll
I'm loving, oh yeah,
no,
go for it. Let's wind it down. I was just going to say, I love the director's chair. I want to sit in it.
I know. Did you go behind the camera though and like see where it was recording?
Yes, I see it. I'm right here. I'm there right now and I'm dying because I backed up into it on purpose to see what would happen
Guys,
and it totally fell down.
there's loads of stuff that you can throw around this room. I mean,
You
like,
can
don't
throw.
just be content with knocking the sculpture over. You can pretty much trash the
Oh my
room.
gosh.
Oh, I bumped into a couple things and it didn't let me do anything, so I just assumed that was the only part. But
No, no, go to the right.
Oh, I busted the
Yeah,
chair.
there's a card table, there's a chair, there's a megaphone on the table, there's a
Ooh.
like really expensive RFlex camera that's on there you can kick around, the light stands. You can knock the light over and it affects the light in the room. It's a lot of
Whoa.
fun.
AJ, this is so cool. And I love the melting, the golden melting ice cream.
Yeah.
That's you can't bust that because
No,
probably because it's art,
that's
but
super solid. Like,
that's fixed. But those chairs are done skis.
that's so funny because that little control panel thing you knocked over, I totally went up to that multiple times and tried to knock it over and it didn't. So I was like, wow, I guess everything
Can
has
we
to
play soccer?
stationary.
Boop, boop. Oh, we can play soccer with art. Oh, this is terrible, but I feel really
I mean,
good.
leave it to the FAFO guy to
Exactly. I just didn't FAFO enough. Note to self, FAFO
it's
Oh,
I really wish that your wish would come true, CK, like where they're recording, because like how many people are careful, like, and when the one thing falls over, that I think we've agreed that it just falls over, right, whether you touch it or not.
Yeah.
But like, and then nothing else happens, and like how many people come in here and just really fuck shit up.
Yeah. Yeah, I really do hope that they're documenting some anything of this, capturing something, even if it's like a still of the aftermath, before a reset happens. I don't know, but
I
so
just
fun.
love that the lighting effects are like real time, and when you
yeah.
knock over those two stand lights, it gets dark and kind of
Mhm.
eerie and haunted in here.
It's so good. And now I've come back to the piece and it still like pulls you in. You're like, okay, I've destroyed this room. Let me go look at this art. And you're like, oh, look how beautiful the golden swirls. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love it. Well done, Roger. I am a fan.
Yes, I am as well. This has been so much fun. I don't mean to necessarily stop the FAFOing from happening, but I definitely need to jet out here in a minute for a work meeting. But should we kick it over to AJ for the quick tips?
I'm cool with that.
Let's do it.
Okay, so today's quick tip is all about, and drum roll, Shelly, I'm sure you're going to be excited to hear this one. It's about FarQuest, and I'm not saying Lord Farquaad from Shrek. It's FarQuest. It's part of the Caster series of protocols. Farcaster is basically a decentralized, open source microblogging platform akin to Twitter. It was started by Dan Romero. Um, anyway, I've linked the Twitter thread to the Metaverse 3. It's pinned to the top and it's also down below. But yeah, it's an actual app. So if you go to farquest.app, you can sign up for it. But if you go through the thread and you use my invitation link, then I get points and I get to score other loot in my quest. So I'd like you to go through the thread. It's post number 3 in the thread. So the second post in the thread, I just talk a little bit about what Farcaster is, and the thing that I like about Farcaster is that it's on the Ethereum network, and you can do things like look at NFT projects that you have and find other people that also have that same NFT. So it's got a really neat little social discoverability aspect to it. And to further that, now there's this thing called FarQuest that was created by the BEB. That's BEB. Um, and one of the things that you can do to get some loot is to is to get your free pass, right? You can claim a free pass or you can mint a pass. And I minted oddjob.beb. So I get a certain extra number of points. If you get the free pass, then you do get points, but not as much as if you mint like a custom name. And I think Shelly minted a custom name too. So when you do that, when you mint your pass, even though it's free, you do have to pay for gas because it is an NFT on the Ethereum blockchain. Um, so that's post number 4, and then in post number 5, I talk about what you can do with it. You can go on quests, and one of the quests is getting other people to join Farcast. You can claim your first NFT, and I think that's a free one. It's the little stray kitty cat. Um, so when you reach a certain number of points, you get a potion badge, and I'm super excited about the one that I just got. I just topped over 1,000 points, so I get something called the Fargate, which is a portal into the metaverse. Now, it doesn't exist right now, but it says maybe one day you'll be able to do something with it. So they're always adding functionality to it. It's just it's like merit badges, right? When you're in some programming classes, like they'll give you badges for achievements of things, and I know certain games do that too. And it just sort of like hits that dopamine part of your brain and saying, hey, good job, and it just increases engagement, and it's something that I think other places like Decentraland would be well served if they had something like that. So yeah, that's today's quick tip. It's the FarQuest app, and it's through the Farcaster protocol, and it's by the BEB protocol team.
Now, Scott, I found that through Warpcast. Are you, because I thought it was directly connected with the Warpcast
Yeah.
app. Is that wrong?
No, you're not wrong. No, so it's not connected to Warpcast. So in the second post in my thread, I discuss, what Farcaster is. And it's a protocol, right? So there's actually, I think, four or possibly now five different apps that you can install on your phone. I use Warpcast on the desktop. I use it on my iPhone. But there's other apps that people have created that use Farcaster. There's one that mimics Pinterest. There's another one that mimics YouTube. So it's still using the Farcaster protocol, but you can post videos to it. Now, any of those apps that you use to interact with the protocol um, can utilize the posts that are on Farcaster. So think of Farcaster protocol as being email, and you've got, Microsoft Exchange or Office or whatever. You've got Google Gmail, and then you've got a million different varieties of vanilla that can utilize that protocol, and you can still access your email, right? You don't just have to use Gmail or Microsoft products. So that's kind of the same thing. The FarQuest app is a total third party group that have, done the open source thing and looked at the Farcaster protocol and then gamified it. So that's what it is. So you use Warpcast, and you've just discovered the FarQuest app on the app that you use, but you very well could have done it using Jam is another one. That's a Farcaster app too. Hope that explains it.
Yes, thank you so much. That just clarified a lot. Thank you.
And thank you, Scott, always for your tips. Learned a lot, and I've been, trying to explore more of this. So now I'm excited to jump in more and try and get some of those badges because the completionist in me really wants them. So thanks again for that, and thank you everyone for joining us to learn more about Artifacts, the immersive art sort of metaverse platform. Um, it was really excited to hear from RD and the team and learn more about it and jump in, explore, ask any questions. I hopefully jump in some of their spaces and learn more about their community and see more of what the site has to offer. We want to thank you guys for tuning in each week, every Thursday. And for those looking to connect, you can find us on Lighthouse in the links and the replies that we'll post. And if you're wanting to become a sponsor of our Curiosities in the Metaverse, please do reach out. But until next week, we'll see you in the Metaverse, y'all.
Bye.
Y'all. Jump in some of their spaces and learn more about their community and see more of what the site has to offer. We want to thank you guys for tuning in each week, every Thursday. And for those looking to connect, you can find us on Lighthouse in the links and the replies that we'll post. And if you're wanting to become a sponsor of our Curiosities in the Metaverse, please do reach out. But until next week, we'll see you in the Metaverse, y'all.
Bye.